Yes, before you ask, I am fully aware it has been a while since I posted fucking anything to this channel. Now, I'm not sure if I ever told you, but aside from internet history and PSAs, psychology is one of my biggest special interests. The way people think is one of the most fascinating things in my opinion. Yeah, I know. Ironic how, despite being arguably insane, I still like studying other people's minds. But hey, I didn't choose my hyperfixations, people. Anyways, the reason I bring this up is because today's episode of Web Surfing with the Sheep combines two of my favorite subjects, internet history and psychology. So, there's plenty of pipelines on the internet, but the one I'm going to be talking about is one I'm aware of because I experienced it firsthand. I'm, of course, talking about the far-right 4chan incel to trans goth pipeline. Now, if none of that made any sense to you, allow me to explain. It's a common phenomenon on 4chan for edgy teenage boys into far-right politics, oftentimes also not being able to get laid, to later become goth trans women, or at the very least, femboys. Now, I've heard of transmaxing, where incels transition in the hopes that their lives will be better as women, but this is something entirely different. And most 4chaners still have no clue why this phenomenon is so common on the platform they reside. In fact, the last time I visited B, which is 4chan's random board, this very question was being asked. Why do so many teenage Nazis on this site become femboys? Now, obviously, I cannot show a screenshot of that post on B because, much like a lot of B, it has porn in it, and YouTube doesn't like that. But if I could prove what I saw, I would. So, being the ever-curious and smart sheep girl that I am, I set out to find some explanations for this phenomenon, and I have a few theories. The first one being, far-right relies so much on community to have any power in the societies they exist as part of, hence why a lot of them tend to be religious and family-oriented. And because of this reliance on community, almost any form of individuality is often quashed within the ranks of these groups. Even on 4chan, a site known for promoting individuality, this can be observed. Except, rather than wanting to shoot you dead, your average, B poster or poll poster will just call you a faggot or a retard. However, because 4chan's environment defies the norms of society, there are quite a few that ironically, and I say this in air quotes, ironically, cross-dress and promote typically conservative values while doing so. Cross-dressing is often a trans person's gateway into questioning one's gender, and because the general consensus on 4chan is that almost nothing is to be posted in earnest, it is safe for them to do so as long as they claim to only be doing it ironically. Eventually, these people either move on from 4chan entirely or become what are known as 4trans, which are honestly pretty sad because they are bigoted trans people obsessed with passing. Thankfully, I myself never went down the latter route, but I do think this sums up my own personal journey down this pipeline, at least for the most part. Next theory, the clownfish theory. The clownfish theory is a name I have developed for a possible explanation as to why so many 4chaners transition, referencing the characteristic that if there are not enough male or female clownfish, these fish change their sex in order to fill said gap. 4chan is a space that is predominantly horny, lonely men, since most women tend to avoid the site like the plague out of fear that they will be harassed the minute they enter the site. 4chan culture and incel culture have a heavy overlap for this exact reason, and so transmaxing is most likely not a foreign concept to your average 4chan dweller. Yes, I am making the point that the can't get a girlfriend, become the girlfriend meme wasn't always ironic. It probably was at one point a 4channer's actual ideology. And now for my final theory. I don't really need to say much about this last one since it's a combination of my two main theories, with the conclusion being that these people realized that they were the exact people they were taught to hate, and the exact people they blamed all their problems on. Their misogyny was very much internalized, and they were jealous of women. Not inherently because they got sex easier, but rather because they felt that their lives would be better as said women, and therefore wanted to be such. But all in all, these are just a clusterfuck trans femme's ramblings on a site that she's ultimately left behind, so don't take my word for it. After all, these are just theories based on my own personal experiences as a trans femme person who fell down this pipeline, and my understanding of the people who inhabit 4chan. And I already stated that almost nothing on 4chan is to be taken seriously. These could very well be trolls. And that, gentlemen, ladies, and fellow non-binary daisies, although I guess I do fall into both the ladies and non-binary daisies category, is the end of the 4th episode of Web Surfing with the Sheep. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, and if you've done all of these things, y'all have a great day. Antonia out. Peace. If you're wondering why I don't really advertise the sheep herd anymore, well, I will get around to that. If you want to get into the server, just ask me. That's all there is to it. Anyways, this time for real, Antonia out. Peace.